So basically, I found that I had to apply for a job at the Citroen Museum the other day, but it was a really convoluted process because I had to send in 2 CVs.
Oh, okay.
Hey, hello everyone.
Man. As if being knocked out of Whamageddon wasn't enough, I have to fucking put up with this.
I didn't mind that one, actually.
Well, you see, another one of my enablers, the Baker Street enablers. Yeah, helping me out. So thank you out there, mysterious enabler. You know who you are. And welcome, hello to Black Dog version 2, episode 31. I'm Lee.
I'm Darren.
I'm Jim.
And I'm in big trouble, I think.
You fucking well are, you absolute shitweasel. Right.
Oh, you are in big trouble, and it ain't in Little China either.
No, you is fucked, my friend. So, yes, as you may have guessed, we have we've broken from the new version tradition because, like, recently we've been trying to have trying to have more positive films or films we haven't seen, films in lockdown, and we've been skewing away from doing the shit covered goggles of the old version 1. And someone decided to pop that cork, didn't they, Elton?
So I'm really, really sorry. I didn't realise I didn't realise. I'm so sorry.
So unfortunately, we've returned back to the old Marvel Universe 616, and here we are in shit-covered goggles, aka now Sadvent. So this is the first of the 4 weeks of Sadvent, and you've only got yourself to blame, Elton. This is it.
I didn't mean it. I shouldn't be allowed to touch anything, honestly.
Too late now. That's it. The Band-Aid's off. It's once this month's done, there's no more coming back and having cheerful movies or films we haven't seen. It's going to be any old shit. Everything and anything.
Chaos.
It's chaos. So, yes, in case you don't know, you've only just joined us and you don't know what we're talking about. This week, we're going to be reviewing Freddy Got Fingered, that hilarious Tom Green movie. But first, we will find out how everyone's week's been. We have a little bit of feedback on Bad Taste, our last week's movie. And, and then we'll get on to reviewing that film, the first of Sadvent. Welcome to this is December, everyone. Welcome to Boss Level 2020. Yeah. This is it. Once you get past these 4 weeks, everything will seem better. Because I have a sneaking suspicion Jim, whose choice is next, will be a stonker, I imagine, and it won't get any better from here on in. So
I'm so worried about Jim's choice.
You fucking will be. You should be.
You fucking should be. Someone's getting coal in their stocking, and it'll be swung round my head and cracked over yours like a prison cosh.
Nice.
No.
It's
Jim's
all gonna...
angry with me.
Jim's angry. There's listeners all over the world. I've got stats that will tell me precisely how angry everyone is. Anyway, let's not worry about that right now. Let's stay positive, everyone. And let's see how everyone's week's been. So we'll start with you, Jim. How's it been?
Busy, mainly, as I'm attempting to get everything done before Christmas this year in the hope of actually having some time off, which is going quite well so far, I must admit. Slightly behind schedule, but it's actually in hand.
Right.
But there's been some good stuff as well. I did a little guest spot for the Strange and Deadly show with Mr. Tom Elliott and Mr. Chris Clayton.
Oh, wow.
And after years of talking to these chaps, I finally got to speak to them on a podcast, and it was lovely. So that was a nice start to Christmas season.
Nice.
Generally, though, I've been we just been all getting ready for Christmas, and the shopping's nearly all done, which is a bit of a first.
Nice.
Mainly because I had a bit of a panic with the second lockdown. Oh, Christ, the post will go tits up. So I was extra organised. And it's kind of, 1st of December. Got a few things to turn up in the post, but I'm actually done. Yes.
Wow.
Result. I feel like a grown-up.
Bloody hell. You've done well. I've still got Carol's birthday to sort out before I get to the bloody get to Christmas. Anyway, carry on.
On the demerit side, though, just to prove I'm not a grown-up and I am an idiot. The other day, so my computer was kind of like getting a bit noisy. I better just do a few checks. Why are your fans so noisy? And I installed a little utility to check your CPU heat and stuff like that, make sure all the fans are working properly. And so all 4 cores were like 100 degrees. And shit!
Oh, shit.
Wow. It's not good. Shit.
No.
So I took the case apart. I gave it all a good clean because, actually, dust build-up will raise the temperature. And you can actually, sometimes that can sort it out. It didn't. It helped a bit, though, but it was still going crazy. And I was going, oh, shit, what am I going to do? Right. And so I panicked and went to Amazon and bought a huge extra fan to go in it.
Oh, no.
And then I did some further looking online and said, you can turn off various things in... so I found, actually, it was when when Chrome was running, that seemed to be the problem. I disabled a ton of extensions and it went back to running at a nice, 40, 50 degrees, which is how it should be. Then the next day, I got a fan I didn't need. And I had no idea which extension was causing the problem because I disabled a ton all at once like a rookie instead of doing them like you should, one at a time, and see which one was the problem, which is how you should do it. And I should know how to do that, being unofficial tech support to family and friends for the best part of 30 years.
Yeah, but in fairness, when your PC's actually on fire, you don't really sit there and go, one, no, don't still on fire, two. Just fucking turn them all off.
So swings and roundabouts there. Maybe not that organised, and maybe not that much of a grown-up. So it all balances out.
Well, if you find out what the extension is, do tell us, because I'm always eternally worried by Chrome extensions. So do let us know. Put it on the group or something.
I suspect I noticed there was an Adobe one turned itself on, probably through an update, which I definitely hadn't. And that could have been the problem. I don't know. But I'm looking at that one squinty-eyed, shall we say.
Yeah, that's definitely a start.
Bloody PDF reading rubbish.
Yeah.
Most inefficient way to read a PDF is to use Acrobat. When you can annotate it and all of this, if you pay us hundreds of money, and if you're lucky, we might actually open the fucker.
Yeah, but here's 65 updates every day.
Do you want to sync this with all your devices? No, I just want you to look at it in the fucking first place.
I just want to print it.
That's all. I just want to see what's in it. That's all, and scroll through it. Just basic shit. I don't want you to do tricks. I don't want it to perform a musical with a seal or any of this bullshit. I don't care about Adobe Bridge. That can get fucked off and that can die as well. And all this other shit I don't need. Fuck off. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.
Yeah. That's it. Only install what you need to from Adobe. That's for sure.
Absolutely. But just to end it on a positive note, though, we've so one thing I have noticed for the last few weeks of we're now 2 months today from having our little dog.
Yeah.
And we're really enjoying taking her out for a walk. It's good exercise, get some fresh air. But I'm finding in this troubled world, when you have a dog, you go out, you meet other people with dogs, and 99% of the time, they're absolutely lovely people. You just stop and have a quick banter about dogs and a bit of a chit-chat, and everyone's just so nice. And dog people is really some of the best people. And you sort of come home thinking, actually, maybe the world isn't so bad. Maybe people don't make films like Freddy Like Fingers. Maybe people don't pick them out of malice. Maybe there's light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, you do know Elton's the sort of like exception that proves the rule, right? Because he's got a dog. Silence from
Don't
you.
make him more angry at me, please.
You
I'll
fucking
have
made
like
that
a
bed.
curse on me, honestly.
You made that bed, my friend. You got to fucking lie in it. You wield the power of the shit-covered goggle. You must fucking learn to live with its consequences.
He'll call the Babadook on me. Honestly, I don't want that.
You'll be buried in Lake Mungo, mate, is where you're going to end up.
No. Oh, look, Elton's in the photo there. Actually, no, he's not. Zoom in on the corner that you didn't know you was there. There he is. Oh, fucking hell, no.
There he is. He's hiding behind the chair.
Yeah. He was there all along.
There you go.
Honestly,
Sorry,
please don't summon the Babadook. Honestly, please don't.
Look. Anyway, sorry, Jim. Yes. Anyway, you were saying about dogs.
That'll do for me. That'll do for me.
No, that's lovely. Right. Okay. Cool. So, okay, then over to Mr. Iscariot Esquire.
Yeah.
Great yielding. Where the? What do you want?
I've just had a massive panic attack because number one, the Babadook is going to get me. Number two, Jim just saying, "Oh yeah, all the posts to be blocked up, weren't it?" Yes. I haven't ordered a thing. I'm fucked.
Yep. Well, it's okay. It's okay. You can go out into the COVID wastelands come tomorrow.
Oh, I haven't stopped going out there. I've been out there since March. I've been out there since the very beginning of time.
I was there when the sky fell, young'un.
I was still there with dust all around my eyes.
I watched the fall of the great first empire. Yeah, well, don't worry, mate. You'll be out with the fellow zombies now. That'll be it.
Yeah. Still trying to dodge the plague. Managing to do it so far. I'm getting to that point where I'm getting worried now. Think the walls are closing in. There's been a couple of cases at the kids' school. One of the staff have got it now.
Yep.
Now, that's not saying teachers. That could be reception or healthcare workers or whatever, but one of the staff have got it now. I think there was a case in like the year above Kimmy, maybe the year below Jacob as well. So the walls feel like they're closing in a little bit. We have my mum coming up for Christmas as well. So I'm trying to be extra special careful for not ruining anything like that, no one getting ill. And then we've got we also had a phone call about we will be moving in January. Fingers crossed.
Hey, cool.
Yes. We haven't got a date yet or anything like that, but we had the phone call. I think last time I spoke to you, it was, someone dropped out and the chain is broken. The chain has now been completed again at the very top end. So
Lovely.
that is going forward again. So all good there. But they said, it probably won't be this side of Christmas. It'll probably be the other side of Christmas. So I'm thinking middle of January.
Yeah, you know why that is? That's because that's how long it takes for me to pay those guys to move your house to stand on a pole in the middle of fucking Pakistan.
You would do that as well, wouldn't you?
On the back of a fucking truck. But anyway.
I feel the walls are closing in with COVID, and you guys are getting very close. Can I just have a little bit of room, please?
We're in the same room, Elton. Who says we're not in the house?
I'm standing behind the curtains in your living room. Really need to put some trousers on.
Yes. I will next time.
Or don't.
Wahaha. There you go.
Apart from all of that, I'm slowly working my way through Raised with Wolves, still enjoying that. Somehow I found myself on a massive rewatch of The Office.
Right.
I've done like 6 seasons in the last 2, maybe 3 weeks. It's just one of them rewatches where you just, I fancy watching some of that. And then all of a sudden you're 12 deep. and then it carries on and on.
Pornhub again, isn't it?
Here we go.
12 deep.
Oh, dear, Elton. Always the same with you, isn't it?
Which office? Is it the American office or the British one?
I've done both.
The Vivid office.
Yeah. No, I'm not going to say that.
I have done both. I so much prefer the American version. I think it's so much better.
Yeah. Cool. Okay. I can't. I have no judgment. I can't. All I know is The Office from about 1 trillion memes, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. Anything else? No, I don't think so. I think I'm just gonna slowly crawl into a corner for the rest of the night while you guys kick me and me worry about Christmas because I don't know what to get anyone.
Oh.
I've got everyone all the good stuff last time out.
I don't know, guys. What are we expecting from Elton? I mean, by way of apology.
One of them new black square Xboxes and a PlayStation 5, please. The one with the disc drive in the front, not that cheap old fucking store it online shit. Okay?
Yeah, fuck that nonsense.
Fuck that bollocks. No. All hard media driven. Come on.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's the way to go.
Yeah, that's it. Physical media all the way. Cool. Okay then. Well then, let's move on to you then, Dal. How's it going with you, sir?
Oh, how's it been this week? Oh, well, downside, I'm not in Whamageddon anymore. Upside, I'm now playing reverse Whamageddon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, which is where you actively seek out the tune Last Christmas on the radio, and you score 10 points every time you recognise it.
Wow.
Nice.
So I've gone to the other side. This is on one of my. The posts I put up about it today, about it being on, and then I'm in the kitchen. I come back from shopping, switch the radio on, and 3 tracks in, suddenly, there you go.
Yeah.
George Michael telling me it's his last Christmas. So there you are.
Was that before or after he went through the window at Call Quick?
I don't know. Probably after. But there you are. So apart from coming out there, I've got me Star Wars Lego Advent calendar, which I've opened today.
Okay.
And my first toy I got on there, the first ship was actually an A-Wing. Diddy little A-Wing. Tiny, very cute. So I'm looking forward to going through and doing the rest of that.
Nice.
TV-wise, started watching a new show that's only just come out. It's doing 2 episodes a weekend, this thing. So it releases one on a Friday, I think, and one on a Sunday.
Right.
It's a Korean show called Uncanny Counter.
All right.
It's a rated 12, so it's like, you can have your kids watching it and stuff like this.
Uncanny Counter or Encounter?
No, Uncanny Counter, as in countertop.
Right.
Basically, this kid, just to give you the basics, this guy called Mun, teenager, gets struck by this ball of light and finds that he's gained these special abilities. He's 3 times stronger, 3 times faster, 3 times more resilient than a standard human being. And there are a group of people in the city who are called the Counters. And what they are is they are agents for the afterlife. And what they do is they track down evil spirits when they escape and come into our world. And the way they can do it is they find someone who's got the urge to kill. And they use that as a gateway into our world. And they kind of, as the person goes on, they start encouraging that person to kill more. And as they do, they gain more of a foothold in that person.
Right.
Now, I know this sounds pretty standard stuff, but trust me, it's actually quite good. Yeah, pretty standard stuff. But it's actually quite good. It's quite funny as well. With the kid as he's learning his abilities and getting trained up and what have you.
Right.
So yeah, Uncanny Counter. It's a Korean series, and it's only just really started on Netflix. The first 2 episodes are out at the moment. So very much looking forward to the rest of the series. and seeing where it goes.
Cool. Okay.
So, yeah, that's all I'm going to say about it.
Okay, fair enough. Cool. Right, well, that's that.
That's
Anything?
about it for me,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Okay, well, it'll be pretty quick for me as well because I've not done an awful lot this week. I'm still trudging towards the end of season 2 of The Boys. I am enjoying it, but I find that it's so relentlessly grim and nihilistic that even I have to kind of just sort of give it like two or three episodes and go, nah, give it a bit.
I've just got to go and sit in a darkened room somewhere for a while.
Once you see a gigantic sperm whale basically skewered by 4 nutters on a speedboat, and everyone's sitting inside the bloody thing, having a little rest and a bit of a heart-to-heart next to a pumping heart of a dying sperm whale, you kind of think, well, maybe I'm just getting desensitized to these sort of things. I might just need to take a break. As it turned out, it was good training for the film that came later. And then the other thing is I've been playing more God of War.
Yeah.
I had a bit of a rage quit moment on it the other day when it difficulty suddenly spiked up about 4 levels, and it was just suddenly like everything that I thought I could beat, now I couldn't anymore.
I love it when it does that on games.
Yeah, but it turned out after a quick discussion with my good friend Mr. Jess that it was kind of not expecting me to go wandering off the beaten track quite so soon, and actually followed the story a bit. And sure enough, as soon as I did, I'm back on track, and now I'm punching fuck out of everything. And it's getting to that proper thing where I'm getting into proper rage as I'm slamming creatures' heads into the ground or cutting their heads off with a humongous, great big ice axe. I'm literally going, "Yeah, die, you fucker!" kind of thing, with veins climbing up the side of my head. And yeah, I'm finding it very cathartic at this point. There's a fight with a colossal dragon which its head fills the entire screen. There's just no easy way of saying it. It's small, and it's fucking enormous. And you're just sitting there and you're beating it up, and then I end up driving like half a mountain through its neck, and I'm like, "You're fucking take that and fucking die." So yeah, that's been helping. That's been helping a lot. So, other than that, I've TV wise, yeah, like I say, I've been watching The Boys. I did watch a documentary on Netflix, by the way. I kind of went down a bit of a rabbit hole in Netflix, and I found like a history thing. Kind of gives you a sort of more like just general little pocket moments of history.
Yeah,
and there was actually a documentary on Gandhi. And it was just like it was covering all the basics, how he walked barefoot most of the time because, he hurt his feet a lot and all that kind of stuff. And he ate very little.
Gandhi.
Yeah, exactly. He ate very little, which made him feel frail. And then because of that, he had bad breath and all that sort of thing. Anyway, it turned out the documentary was called "A Supercalifragilistic Hexed with Halitosis."
Oh my God!
Thank you and good night.
It does not end, does it?
It's drop.
Just yeah.
And thank you, Mr. Enabler number 2. I'm only doing this because basically I've got nothing this week, and we could do with all the laughs we can possibly get before we get to the episode. So now, hold on. Time for me to use the old soundboard again, because I am going to say that we actually have some feedback. Yes, we do.
Old.
Roll the jingle. Yes, it is.
Now put your hands up. Here online, doing real fine. We're doing our podcasting. It's called Black Dog. It's not like a joke. Is anyone there listening? What do you think of our show? Let us know by MP3 or email. Just get it to us. It ain't no fuss. We'll even read your Twitter rings. Cause if you like us or you hate us, send some feedback in. Got a geek and punch and put some feedback in. If you think my voice is sexy, put some feedback in. Man, we really like it if you put some feedback in.
Yeah, feedback. Hey, oh, you can tell I've got a soundboard now, can't you? Yeah. Don't worry, I won't do this next time. I'll edit it all back. So last week we reviewed Bad Taste, and we had a couple of things. And one of the things that came up was the fact that, you know, in this day and age, one of the things we probably should have done was we could have made a horror film back in the day if we had our talents now, but back then. And Chris Johnson immediately leapt onto that and said, you really need to make a Black Dog horror movie called The Podcast of Madness. Not entirely sure that we aren't already doing that, to be quite frank. But anyway, so but also we had some other feedback. We had Sean Gleason, who said during the making of Bad Taste, an actor that was saved from being cooked, you know, the character who was sat in the barrel with the apple in his mouth. Yeah. During the filming took so long that guy managed to get married to a very religious woman that pulled him out of the movie. And then when they got divorced, he went back into the movie and had to keep his same moustache all the way through.
So he got married and divorced?
In the time it took to make that movie, because it took 4 years to make it, didn't it?
Wow.
There you go. Well, we also get a missive from New Zealand with Happy Dave Renane, who says, "Hello, chaps," over in New Zealand. He says, "Happy Dave here with his delayed currency conversion. There's a couple of things to consider, because we were talking about how much it was going to cost to make the movie. First is that back in 1980s, if my memory serves, the exchange rate was more like 3 to 1 for New Zealand dollars rather than 2-point-something-ish to 1 like it is today. So the box office take of Bad Taste, which was 150,000 New Zealand dollars, would be more like 50 grand in English pounds. Having said that, in 80s money, the box office less the budget would have bought you a decent house with a fair bit of money left over. So while it's not Star Wars money, it's not a bad return for 4 years of weekend work. Also, lovely work by this week's pun enabler. Golf clap all rounds, chaps. Yes, and if you are one of my pun enablers out there, my Baker Street irregulars, by all means keep sending them in, because I'm enjoying this, especially the groans. I'm inflicting pain. I'm like a Cenobite. I have so many puns to show you. And finally, the last bit of feedback is Martin Thompson, who writes in to say, as a first-time watcher of this, I knew of it and had seen the picture of the main bad guy, but that was about it. I admired the effects through it, though, and the effort. I did laugh at some of the lines, like intergalactic wanker, and they've been killed by some real assholes. But, as Darren said, the final fight went on a bit too long. I realise it's placed in history, but I think you could probably only watch it for nostalgia, in a cinematic history kind of sort of way with mates, or with beer and pizza. That's not to say I didn't enjoy it or have fun with it, though. Also, somewhere else, and I can't find the actual post, but Reverend Peter Organ also congratulated us on our fortitude, as he didn't actually manage to make it through more than 10 minutes of the actual film trying to watch it along with us.
Right.
So, there you go. So quite a range there. And yes, if anybody else would like to send feedback in, by all means, send it into feedback@blackdogpodcast.com. Or, as the other guys have done there, tag it on the end of the post of the episode on the Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/blackdogpodcast. Or send it into the Twitter account, which is still barely beating on live support, which is @blackdogpodcast. Right. Let's just know that we're taking a moment here, because now it's time for us to start a tradition which I hope will not be continued through into 2021, but we never know. Today is the first day of Sadvent, and it is Freddy Got Fingered. Roll the jingle. Right. Freddy Got Fingered is a 2001 American satirical surreal black comedy film directed by Tom Green, written by Tom Green and Derek Harvey. The film follows Tom Green as a 28-year-old slacker who wishes to become a professional cartoonist. The film plot resembles Green's struggles as a young man trying to get his TV series picked up, which would later become the popular MTV show, The Tom Green Show. Released on April 20th, 2001 by 20th Century Fox, the film was universally panned at the time of release, with many considering it to be one of the worst films of all time. It won 5 Golden Raspberries of its 8 nominations, as well as the Dallas-Fort Worth Film Critics Association Award for Worst Picture Ever. The film has met with more positive reassessment over time, most notably from Metacritic, which is full of fuckwits. With some commentators interpreting the satirical and meta-humorous themes within the film's gross-out gags. The film had a budget of $14 million. How much did it make at the cinema in theatrical release, Jim?
A horse's cock.
There we are. No need to do any others. We're all done.
Yep.
No, go on in, Darren.
Fuck all.
Elton?
In fact, I think he was paying people as they went through the door. He actually paid people to watch it.
I can see where this is going.
I
Elton.
don't think you're wrong, no.
Elton, how...
I was going to say 4 gallons of elephant juice.
Elephant juice or elephant jizz?
Juice,
Because
jizz. Whatever you
because
want.
it is jizz. Well, you know what? It Darren's right. Fuck all. It earned at the box office exactly how much the budget was. It earned $14.3 million, so it made $300,000.
Wow.
And
Somebody paid to see this.
well, it grossed $14 million domestically and $78,000 overseas for a worldwide total of $14.3 million.
I think that's a rather wonderful coincidental use of that word there, gross.
Yeah. It was a film. I think we all know how everyone feels about this film, but I'm just going to put in the critical response from the Toronto Star was to actually take their ratings and give it the only negative 1 star out of 5. And CNN's Paul Clinton said it's quite simply the worst film ever created by a major motion pictures Hollywood studio. And he listed the runtime as 87 awful fucking minutes. Well, he didn't say fucking, but I'm pretty sure that's what he would have said. Anywho, so yes, so it's got unbelievable amounts of nominations for Golden Raspberries, as we said, the Stinkers Bad Movie Awards, Worst Picture of the Decade at the Golden Raspberries. It's got quite a legacy. So, let's go around the table for the one-line review before we get to discussing this for what it's worth. So, Sadvent. Well, we know you picked it, Elton, so we'll have you go last. So Jim, you're freshest. You literally finished watching this about 20 minutes before we started recording. So, how you still feeling, sir?
Yeah.
What the hell was that? Was that your robot minions being sent off to kill?
3792858.
I think I'm melting down.
Oh shit! Fucking Jim's gone metatextual. It's so deep.
He's forgotten all words. He just knows number.
He's talking in number stations. He's gone.
10, 8, 4, 6, 9, 10, 6, 8.
And that says it all.
I think, yeah. Good night, everyone. I think thank you very much. Next week we will be doing no. Right. Okay. Darren, can you follow that up?
Darren, can you improve on number?
I think there were actual Nazis who were less of a cunt than this movie. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, yeah, okay. In which case, before we get to Elton, I would just like to say on my behalf, I've seen some shit films in my time. I will openly admit that this is not the worst made film of all time, but it is certainly the film that's made me doubt ever watching any films ever again, for fear that I might stumble across something as fucking awful as this. It's tedious and asinine and fucking mentally damaging just to watch. It made me physically angry at one point, sick at another point, and I just wanted it to end by any means necessary. If the fucking telly had fallen on me that night, I would have been happy. I would have died happy. It would have been a single moment of happiness film generated for me. It was a big pile of shit. Elton.
Well, I came to Freddy Got Fingered. I thought I came to it in the 90s, but clearly that wasn't the case because it was made in 2001. So
You made it. It's your fault.
Maybe, yes. Maybe it's like some sort of acid dream. Someone dropped something in a beer at some point while I was in Greenwich, and from then on, I just dreamt this.
Nice.
But yeah, I didn't see this at the cinema. Thank fuck.
Mm-hmm.
But I did rent it on the DVD, and I came away on my very first watching, and only watching up until that point, thinking, what the fuck have I just watched? I quite liked all the MTV stuff in the early 2000s, and it had like its place in things, and it kind of worked, and there was like this MTV kind of generation that was going through, and you could feel it through absolutely every type of media that was built around that sort of time. It's a pile of wank, and it really is such bilge. That's the only way I can put it. It's terrible. It is unfunny. It's forced. It's laboured. It's mean-spirited.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't want to start giving this more credence or thoughtful discussion than it fucking warrants, because frankly it doesn't.
It's not there, I'm afraid.
No, but I was trying to get a handle on why people were seeing it in a positive light, because I have seen that a few people are reappraising it and seeing it as a positive thing. So I thought, well, if I at least look at what other people are saying about it, I could maybe try and understand. Mm-hmm. And one video review had an interesting point, and I know that we all hate this film, and I know that it's ridiculous and gross out and stupid, and nothing's going to change that, I don't think. But the general point is that when this film came out, it was at the back end of the 90s gross out comedies. The films like American Pie, the Farrelly Brothers stuff, sort of like Kingpin and Something About Mary and that sort of thing. And so this film was Tom Green doing his MTV stunts, but also taking the piss out of those gross out comedies by just being as gross out as you possibly could and being as ridiculously twee as you possibly could in other places, because that's what, you watch American Pie, for example, and you see ridiculous gross out stuff. Yeah. And you laugh at it, because the next thing that comes along is a sickly love story about the bloke, trying to woo the prom queen or whatever it is, or the jock who doesn't really want to go to band camp but he does, sort of thing. And one of the guys who's in this, the Freddie of the title, is actually one of the guys from American Pie.
Yeah.
So I know we fucking hate this movie, and I genuinely never wish to see this film ever again. But for the sake of trying to fill out at least 10 minutes on this podcast, do you think there's any merit in saying that this film knowingly knows that it's ridiculous and gross and yet trying to be ridiculously twee because it's taking the piss out of those kind of movies that came before it?
Do you know what? I don't know. I really don't know, because Tom Green, from my very little understanding of the guy, he likes this sort of humour where he repeats and repeats and repeats until it becomes funny. And if he does it in a funny face, it's like the poor man's Jim Carrey. Does it in a funny face or waves his hands a little bit. It's supposed to emphasise the funniness of the way that he's repeating the words again and again. And he that's his shtick, isn't it? That's what he's lived off from. And it is that kind of MTV. I know I keep saying that, but that's where it's kind of born.
Yeah.
It has that vibe going through it. It has that corporate mainstream going through it as well. It is crap made to sell to people that like to buy Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
And it feels like that. That's one thing that I totally didn't recognise, but when you said about it looks all right. And it does. It looks like it has... It's filmed very well. That's the only thing I can say about it that is positive, because it's not a badly shot movie. Look at Bad Taste last time out.
Yeah.
It was grainy. It was shaky. There were moments where you're like, oh, that's not very good. I can't think of any points along the way of the cinematography in this film that it was poor at all. It looks like it's had some money thrown at it. They've used actual proper cameras to make this. And so it has that thread of, right, we will market this silly man and we'll just give him the writing duties and the directorial duties, and he can run with it. He can do what he wants. Basically, fuck it, we'll write the checks and let's see what happens. If it's a flop, oh well, we haven't lost much. If it's a hit, man, we can really milk this cash cow. And I think this was at the end of... MTV was changing at that time. You just had Jackass coming through. You had Dirty Sanchez coming through as well. And it was all going reality. Whereas this was kind of the last of them, like American Pie type things.
That's what I'm saying, yeah. It's coming off the back of that kind of ridiculous, just stupid for stupid sake humour. That's what I'm saying. It's like the argument is that if you look back at American Pie and just said, well, rather than just have him lying on top of the pie, what about if we actually saw pie penetration, shall we say?
Yep.
And really took the humour to the absolute total one end of the scale. And in the scenes where he's with the girl at band, what's her name? Alison Hannigan at band camp, who's, ridiculously sweet. And then all of a sudden it turns out she likes sticking woodwinds up a bit. If again we go that far and show her doing it, and that's what I'm saying. It's the argument is, and feel free anyone else has any thoughts on this, but what the apologists are saying, I call them apologists because this film is truly bollocks. But what they're saying is that if you take those things to the absolute extreme of just random happenstance and ridiculous gross out moments for just ridiculous moments' sake, you'd end up with Freddy Got Fingered.
Yeah, and if you don't get it, then the joke's on us.
Yeah.
That's what I don't understand. No.
I think that's that if you don't get it, it's your problem. It's like, no, fuck off. Just don't. Oh man, just ultra violence, ultra fucking. I can't. Do you know what? I was in fucking what is it, Leicester Square once, right? And there's this bunch of blokes who do this, who claim to be break dancers, right? Who were trying to get the people to clap along with them doing their thing. Right, and they're going, well, if you don't clap hard enough, if we're rubbish, it's your fault. And it's like, no, you're just rubbish. That's it. Don't fucking blame them. Okay, it's not their fault that you're shit. And that thing you're doing and claiming to be breakdancing actually isn't, where you're just like clapping your hands and sort of like skipping round in a circle for fucking half an hour. Don't fucking blame them. You untalented cockwomble. It's like that. Oh, if you don't get it, if you don't get it, then you're not special like us. Yeah, special is the word, mate. Special is the fucking word.
Well, I think this is worse than that, because it's that kind of
just
pretend intellectualism of kind of well, the joke is that it's not a joke.
Yeah, the joke
and it's kind of like, well, no. You're misunderstanding the fundamentals of the comedy transaction. I've paid you £10 for a cinema ticket to see a comedy film. You don't then make a film that makes me look like a moron. That's not funny. I'll pay you £10, you make someone else look like a moron, and I'll laugh. But just, it doesn't work that way. You're not deconstructing anything. It's not a critique. It's just kind of like, it's like crap Damien Hirst artwork. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's crap. That's the point. No, it's just fucking crap.
I think the phrase "don't piss up my back and tell me it's fucking raining," right? Yes. That describes this completely and utterly. Don't tell me I've got the fucking problem, you pretentious cunt.
I mean, if it was that kind of a joke, what you needed is some like hidden camera footage of him persuading the studio to give him $14 million to make this bollocks, and then their reaction afterwards and how far he can spin it without them killing him and ending his career, which is actually what happened. But you don't have that, and it is just kind of, that was the joke, it was crap. And it's like, no, fuck off. Just
are we missing the most important question?
Go on.
This,
Go on.
which is, when exactly was Tom Green funny?
When he was fucking Drew Barrymore, apparently.
Well, I'm convinced the only reason she was in this because he had her locked in a fucking basement and said, look, if you want to see daylight again, you'll be in my film.
Well, no, actually, they were dating during the making of this, and they were so into each other that when she turned up in Charlie's Angels 2...
He was in that.
He was in that as the Chad, who was like her boyfriend on the boat, as a cameo. And I know far too much about Charlie's Angels 2, I've just suddenly realised.
But that was his curse. That was shit as well.
Yeah, exactly. But he really, I mean, that's the thing. He really came into his own for the UK in the other gross-out comedy, which was Road Trip, which he cameoed in. Where, feel the fury, Mitch, feel the fury, Mitch, and then that fucking snake bites him on the hand and he ends up running around the house. But that's the kind of way to use him, which is, if he's going to just do this Andy Kaufman, I don't know, it's not really humour, but it's humour shtick, then put him in a little box, let him do his thing for 5 minutes, and then get on with the fucking movie. Don't let him run
Can we just put him in a box?
Yeah,
preferably like a C plot.
Preferably, yeah.
Tell him he's in a sequel to that Ryan Reynolds movie, and then, the joke is we just buried you alive. We've not filmed a thing.
Yeah, it's a film about a bloke who was buried for like 12 years, but we're doing it in real time, Tom. We're doing it in real time.
We haven't even charged up your Nokia phone. Try and fucking tap your way out of that. I mean, because the thing I noticed about this film was that apart from how colossally fucking awful it was and brain-meltingly asinine, the film is truly schizophrenic in places because it tries to do the gross out thing, and that's why I think that in some ways, not that I want to do the we don't get it bit, which we've all just had a bit of a blow up over, but I'm just saying the idea that how can I put it, that there was some idea behind it, there was some gag behind it, but in the end, the gag didn't work, and he just carried on playing it for laughs. Because there's moments where you're actually supposed to feel sorry for him, and I don't get why or how, or what scriptwriter, wherever, would think that after having a guy actively accuse his dad of paedophilia and getting his brother locked up, would be able to elicit any kind of reaction apart from loathing from the audience. Even in a comedy.
Well, the problem with this is no structure to it whatsoever. It just goes for the horse cock out of the gate. Now, the thing with gross out comedy is it's like gore in horror movies. It's like guitar solos in heavy metal. You got to build up to them. If you come out of the gate with that, you've got nowhere to go. You know what I mean? You're on 10 on your guitar. You're on 10 on the speaker. Where can you go? Nowhere. And there's no point turning up to 11. It don't work. You know what I mean? If you start out the gate like that, you've got nothing. I mean, to take a very pertinent example, I mean, in the League of Gentlemen film, in the early scenes, a bunch of old ladies get spunked on by a giraffe. But that joke is built up to. And, you know, it's not only, yes, it's an early scene in the movie, but you've had 2 series at that point building up the vet character, so you know when he goes to do something to this giraffe, it's going to go horribly wrong. You know what I mean? It's got literally 4 hours of build-up to that gross-out joke that's in one of the early scenes.
Yeah.
And if you don't have that build-up, if you don't have that structure, it's just... It might get a laugh, but you're going to struggle because you need engagement in comedy. You know, comedy is about horrible things happening, and gross out things can be funny. And a lot of things, to be fair, in this movie, if they were dropped in a proper script and orchestrated, they could be very funny indeed. But as it is, it's the difference between... you know, say writing a rock song and building up to a big screeching guitar solo, and then a moron just drilling holes in a Fender Stratocaster.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just, it's you know, it's like let's build up something really extreme. Let's put a load of bricks in a cement mix and record that. That'll be really metal.
Yeah.
No, it won't though. It won't rock.
It's my Michael Bolton analogy again. Once he comes out, he literally comes out and sings the top chord in the opening fucking chorus. You can't get louder or change your key up. You just can't go any further than that. Michael, fucking dial it back, mate. So yeah, no, I totally agree with that. You know, I was going to say, did anybody actually laugh at any of it at all? What bit?
My first time out, I found the deer part sickening. I couldn't grasp why that would be funny. But I found the sausages part quite amusing, and I giggled at that very first time I watched it. This time round, I'd seen some memes about it, about like the sausages, and I was like, oh, I can't wait for that, because that actually made me chuckle last time out. And Chris Johnson, the Shipfinder, whatever his name is,
Shipfinder General.
That's it. Yes. He put like you know on YouTube you have like these 10-hour videos. There is a 10-hour video of him going, sausages, would you like some sausages? And I watched like 30 seconds of that. I thought, okay, I'm looking forward to that. And then when it came to it in the actual movie, died. Just didn't work. No, it's too all over the place. this movie. I know the whole idea of the movie is to be too all over the place and wacky and everything like that. But, you know, if you're always all over the place and always wacky, then it just doesn't work. It's no coherence to anything of it. No, the line that threads it all together is that he calls his dad a paedophile? That's it?
Yep.
You're on very shaky ground there.
Well, the worst bit of that is the fact that he's clearly got some kind of really crazy mental fucking issues, and the social worker believes him.
Yeah.
It's like he literally goes ha 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 and jumps out of a fucking window and says, "See how you like it, Dad," and then runs off. And it's like the social worker should be going, "Has he got a problem?" Rather than, you know, oh right, let's lock up the entire destroy an entire family. I mean, it's just.
Yeah,
So the comedy dynamics don't work. You can have characters who are completely crazy, but the humour comes from the fact that they don't realise they're crazy. When everyone else goes along with them, that isn't funny. That's just irritating.
Yes.
And irritation is kind of... I think this film confused irritating people with being edgy comedy in the same way as certain comics, particularly American ones, but British comics have been guilty of this as well, who think just shouting is funny. And it's actually, shouting can be funny. But, you know, you're missing that thing of orchestration. Again, to use a far too intellectual parallel for this fucking dog shit cock of a movie. But it's like with H.P. Lovecraft. People often judge Lovecraft by Lovecraftian fiction written by people pastiching him. People go, oh, it's all about things being unnameable, then getting big descriptions of how many tentacles it has, and everything's eldritch all the time. And actually, a lot of Lovecraft's fiction, he actually uses those sort of words sparingly. He builds up to those big descriptions, and they're very, again, it's orchestrated, whereas pastiche people come out of the gate going, it was an eldritch night, and the moon was gibbous, and just lay on all the adjectives he used, but without any thought. And it's like, you know, John Cleese shouting is fucking hilarious. You know what I mean? Jerry Sadowitz haranguing the audience, hilarious. Bill Hicks having a meltdown, it's hilarious. But they're built up to from lots of quiet bits.
Yeah.
And this just goes for the, like, oh, I'll try and refine the thing just by shouting everything. And you go, no, back to comedy school, arsehole.
Yep.
It's that thing of repeating and repeating. It's like, Darren, do you like pens? Do you like pens, Darren? I've got pens. Do you like pens? Pens.
Yeah, I like
clicky pens. Clicky pens. Yeah, I've got clicky pens. Yeah, it's that. He's waiting for it to be funny, and it's just not clicking in, is it? You know?
No.
Unlike the clicky pen.
Unlike the clicky pen, yes.
See, we've done humour.
Masterclass Comedy Workshop.
Yeah. I mean, Darren, you've been a bit quiet on it for a second. Did you find anything at all even remotely amusing?
No.
No.
I did.
There you
don't think I did. And I think if I'd actually laughed at anything, I probably would have denied myself Christmas this year. That would have been it. Don't buy me any presents. I don't deserve it because I laughed at this joke in this film here. It was just, no.
Yeah, I be honest with you, I laughed at one single bit. And
which was that? Was it hopefully Tom Thingy, whatever his fucking name is, getting hurt quite a bit, yeah?
Kind of. Well, okay, in which case, 1.5 bits, which is after the I'm going to make you proud, Daddy, I'm going to make you proud, Daddy, and he gets in the car, and he just goes, get out of the fucking way! And he kind of drives off, which was unexpected. So I just laughed at the fact that he was just unexpected.
So the one piece of actual comedy timing, the one piece of timing that he actually got right, that was it at the beginning of the film, and the rest of it was just...
credits hadn't even finished rolling, and that was it for me.
It's a bit like going to see, I don't know, let's see now, Hootie and the Blowfish in concert, right? You know, one of their songs. and they leave it till the very end, or if they do it at the very beginning, it's like, ooh.
Do I leave at the interval? Yeah.
Exactly.
It's like the second song.
Exactly. You're just waiting patiently for "Hold My Hand" to fucking, and they play it and it's like, there's another 90 minutes to go with this concert. What the fuck?
I'm now more concerned that you know who Hootie and the Blowfish are and you know their song.
I know one of their songs. After
this movie, Hootie and the Blowfish has different connotations. I don't want to think about it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I've been hooting on me Blowfish.
So going off of like the funny, obviously we none of us really found it funny or hilarious or
not
anything
even
like that.
Close. Yeah,
I found it.
There's like two questions to this. Would it get made today? And was there anything that you personally found offensive?
Oh, let's see now. No, it wouldn't get made today. And the bit I found offensive was the bit that, just after the credits, right? Okay, at the beginning, and just before the credits, that whole entire sequence in between those two bits, I just found that offensive. And it wasn't. It was just the film itself was just. I'm just offended that this got made.
Mm.
That's it. There are there's there's life-saving fucking medical procedures that probably could have used that money as research, and probably we probably could have cured some real nasty diseases with that finance, but we didn't. We gave it to it was given to Tom Green to spunk up a wall. That's what it was, right? Okay, that's it. Biggest. I mean, as I get older, right? As I get older, I find that my time is precious, and this is like an hour and a half, not even around about 90 minutes that I will never spend, with my partner or a little girl. That's that. That is the one thing I'll regret when I die. I'll be like, why did I watch that fucking film?
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, mate.
I'll be like,
did they not watch it?
I'm sorry, darling. I'm sorry that I was away for that time. That was precious.
And let's be honest, Darren's so old now that like hours actually count as whole fractions of his life.
You have to look at things like this now and think, do I?
So did the horse.
Do I? What do I do? What do I do? Is it worth it? Is it?
Tick tock, Mr. Freeman.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I found as far as offence is concerned, I didn't find anything offensive. Mm-hmm. I don't think his film would get made now because I just don't think there's anyone like Tom Green or that sort of jackass kind of humour about anymore. Because, like all humour evolves and it moves on, and so society moves on. I mean, it's like I was switching on the telly yesterday, and it I say accidentally, but it flicked onto I flicked
10
through
minutes
the channels.
preview.
So, no.
If you go up and down the channels, it kind of gets past the blocker, but never mind.
Yeah, exactly. No.
So I've been told. I saw it on a website.
Honestly, it was accidental. I was just wondering why this one was fuzzed.
Yeah, I know. I wasn't really typing that number into my payphone. No, anyway.
It's been charged to my room. What?
Say what? No.
How did that happen?
I must have been hacked.
Yeah. Yeah. What can I say? I wasn't in the room at the time. What's happened? It must have been one of the cleaners. Anyway. No, so
one of the Kleenex. I mean, one of the cleaners. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I'll tell you a story about that one day.
No.
But I did wince at a couple of bits. But talking about like the comedy evolves, right? Mm-hmm. And when I turned on the telly, and flicking through the channels, I didn't know there was a thing called Forces TV. Have you heard of this thing?
Oh, I think I've seen that vaguely.
It's basically a TV channel for the armed forces. And because of that, it's supposed to like not be too offensive. It's not got to be outrageous. It's got to be kind of down the middle, old sort of like mid 80s, 70s TV. That's just soldier, all that kind of stuff. You know, even things like UFOs on there, Sykes, and that kind of thing. And funny enough, and Sykes was what I saw was on telly, and it was like a 10-minute conversation between Eric Sykes, Hattie Jakes, and like another character actor whose name I can't remember right now. And they're just battering backwards and forwards, and the audience is in stitches. But I'm sitting there going, yeah, I know what they're going to say next because the humour, I can see it coming from a mile off. You know, here comes the punchline. It's galloping over the hill, you know, and you just kind of go, okay. I would have probably laughed at this back when I was like 10, but now, no, not really.
Yeah.
And the thing is, this kind of film, this Tom Green, gross out hot comedy, the Farrelly brothers even, like, all those movies were of the 90s. Cable era, TV, anyone could do anything. End of the 80s, beginning of the 90s, public access television, Wayne's World, all that kind of stuff. It was all there, and people were just lapping it up because it was like chaos.
Yeah.
Now, you want to watch that kind of shit. You want to watch crazy shit happening. You watch 30 seconds of TikTok and you turn it off. Or you go on YouTube to some crazy thing that says, oh, you know, we've got 16 people to eat cinnamon, or I don't know. And it's been and gone, and it's like that. It snaps. It's just in, out, gone. And the problem is that was kind of brought on by people like Tom Green, by Jackass, by Dirty Sanchez, by all these late night Adult Swim kind of, you know, things that have kind of long past their sell by date now. So I don't think they'd ever make it again, but that's not because I think it's too offensive for anyone. I think it's just the humour was of its time, and I just don't think it was particularly good humour at the time. I just think there was just a counterculture of people who just wanted to see chaos because they don't see it.
Yeah.
And so if they got to remake it, I don't think it'd look anything like it does now. It would be a story of a failed, you know, psychotic fucking animator trying to make his show happen. It'd probably be more like fucking Joker now than it would be a comedy. Or Scorsese's King of Comedy. It'd be about someone who's losing their cocking marbles. As far as being offended, literally all I did was wince at a couple of things because I just don't. I have a very low tolerance for bones breaking through skin if the effect's done right. Anything that's like a realistic death or a realistic injury. I can't watch these episodes of House that the family watch. They watch that and there's like a needle going in an arm and I'm like, ooh. Whereas I watch Bad Taste and someone's head's come off, clean off their heads, and there's fucking Peter Jackson eating the brains out with a spoon, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. So the bit when the guy breaks his leg on the skateboarding park bit.
Where he rips his skin off, yeah.
Yeah. And then you've got fucking Tom Green for no reason whatsoever, just licking the broken stump of the bone. And I just found myself, apart from that scene, I just found myself bemused because there was no connective tissue between any of the comedy.
Did you notice how the film kind of reviewed itself?
At the end?
No, just in general, like in various parts. Like, you know, there was a bit where Drew Barrymore comes out with a classic line of, fuck you, you skinny loser. You know, that kind of thing. And that whole bit where the guy from the Breakfast Club, whatever the fuck his name was, I can't remember his name there, but
Michael Hall.
Yeah, he explains comedy to him. And it's like, so you wrote this down as part of your script, but you never actually fucking well took that in and took it on board.
Well, that's part of what the people are saying is why it's a satirical metatextual thing, because there's bits like that. I know, I'm rolling my eyes as well. Trust me, it's like a fucking fruit machine in my head at the moment. But it's like the idea is that he's literally wrote down something because apparently a director walked off the set saying, this isn't funny, there's nothing funny about it, and left when they made it. So that's why Tom Green became the director.
Right.
So that line from Anthony Michael Hall about where's the funny, what's going on, and as you say, Darren, he wrote that because someone fucking said it to him. That's the conspiracy theory. And similarly, there's scenes like at the end where there's a card up saying, when will this film end? Yeah. Or Tom Green kind of going around going, I'm just spending millions of dollars because I've just spent $1 million because easy come, easy go. And there's a lot of bits like that where people are saying, and that, Tom Green didn't want to make a film. They made a film with him in it and he didn't want to make it. And now he just spent the entire money just blowing it on shit because he could.
So where was the satirical aspect of a girl in a wheelchair wanting to get her legs smacked with a bamboo pole? Mm. I must have missed that, the subtle reference there that was trying to portray.
Exactly. I mean, well, that's where it all falls down, because if you go down that route, you've got to credit Tom Green with a whole lot more intellect and a lot more subtlety than he was displaying anywhere else in the film. So you've either got, as I was watching it, I was WhatsApping my friend Jess, and he was saying it's just a film that basically cashes in on Tom Green not having his lithium that week. And and I think he's right. He said, there was bits because I literally wrote a list out. I said, just one question. This is to Jessie. I said, why wank a horse? Why wank an elephant? Why skateboard? Why go into a hospital and rip a baby out of someone giving birth? Why would you get your brother locked away for being fingered? Why would anyone actually believe that actually happened? Why have a girlfriend who likes giving blowjobs and then being whacked in the kneecaps by a bamboo stick? Why lick a broken leg? Why spend your $1 million cutting a house out and moving it to Pakistan? Why have a scene involving Tom Green dumping 3 kilos of processed cheese into a man's sandwich? Why have a man look for a job by harassing a man in a restaurant while wearing a British policeman's uniform? Why? Just why?
I've got one more why.
Mm-hmm.
Why do we have to see Shaquille O'Neal from that fucking angle?
Yeah, that was a bad angle. That was bad cinematography. Bloody hell.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
No, that was meant, wasn't it? Come on. That was meant. Well, okay, that question has to be asked then. If I didn't realise the director had fucked off, so I'm going to give him more credit than he actually deserves.
Here we go.
Is it like a 2 fingers up to that bloke? This whole movie, just a 2 fingers up to that bloke, and like the people actually cutting the checks for him. It's just, well, they keep giving us money. I'm just going to do little sketches and see how far I can push this.
Do you know what I'm going to say?
And fuck the consequences, basically.
Do you know what I'm going to say? That I did have that thought while I was watching it, because there was bits of it where it looked like he just filmed it in the street, doing his usual thing that he used to do on MTV, which was just be annoying to the public because it's funny, and then tried to tie it all together with a story. But there's too little of that in the film to give it credit that that's exactly what he's doing. I mean, there's the bit when he runs through the restaurant, but that's all actors. There's a bit where he's doing it in the street. Again, they could all be actors, most likely actors.
Yeah.
There's a bit in the bit in the cheese factory. I'm not entirely sure because everyone seems to be, astutely trying to ignore him, and I don't know if that's deliberate or whether or not it's just because he just walked into a cheese factory and just started walking along and taking the piss. It's hard to see that it is truly the case, but I get exactly the same thought at one point. I'll be honest with you. I mean, maybe, I don't know.
But then is that? I don't want to kick a person just for kicking a person and not understand why and what's going on. If there's a reason that it is just a massive two fingers up to a corporate thing, then I could understand that. I could get on board with that and maybe see an angle. But at the moment, throughout the whole years, I've never seen an angle to it.
Well, again, like I say, I mean, it's interesting that after this film, he just vanished entirely from view. Mm-hmm. And, you know, people have bad films. I mean, fucking hell. I mean, was it Cuba Gooding Jr.? I mean, you know, he was in Jerry Maguire, and then like one film later, he's kind of in Pearl Harbor. Yeah. And he's like, and everyone's like, oh my God. Yeah, he still gets work and he still does work. And the same goes for John Travolta or Nicolas Cage. Mm-hmm. So
it's different though if you're just acting in a movie to if actually you've made the damn thing.
Well, that is true. That is very true.
It's very hard if you write and direct and produce and play the harmonica and wank the horse's cock on a movie yourself. It's very hard to get rid of that albatross. I mean, if you're an actor, you're always at the mercy of an editor, the script writer, the director. I mean, God knows, we've all seen films where they've been awful, but actually the actors in them have tried their best with what they have. You know what I mean? I mean, famously, you know, kind of, you got a lot of old school actors. You know, your Peter O'Toole's, your Peter Cushing's, and those type of people. They can class up a terrible movie.
Yeah.
By their performance. But at the same time, the movie is still awful. And it's kind of, you know, it's not their fault. The director's a moron and the editor's an idiot. And, you know, you can come back from it. But if you direct a bad movie or you script a bad movie, that's a far deeper hole to climb out of. Yeah, you've got to do something small and indie and worthy.
Yeah.
And do penance. And for a guy like Tom Green, that's not something that's particularly open to him. I mean, after this, he could maybe claw it back if he went and did performance art, which some people tried to claim this is, and I think, no, it's not, though. I understand the concept, but it is one that it is just irritating, and it suffers from the problem of all concept art. From, you know, that goes for Damien Hirst and all that crew as well. The problem with it is you don't need to actually see the art or have anything to do with it. Someone can just give you the concept like a cracker joke or a fortune cookie motto, and you've got it.
Yeah.
You don't have to experience it. Whereas I think a good bit of art, whether it's music, whether it's a painting, whether it's a film, you have to experience it for yourself to understand it. If it can be summed up as a pat phrase of, like, for the pat phrase for this movie is awful and offensive, and that's the joke, and the joke's on you. End of.
Yeah.
Now you can tell me that, and I can get that, and I can actually, you know, I could have not bothered watching it.
Yeah.
And that's where that's the acid test for conceptual artwork is for me. Yeah. If you can completely get everything second hand, then the artwork has actually failed, because the artwork you should have to experience in itself to get the concept.
Well, yeah, it's like my old bugbear that I've said on here before. You know, if I have to watch a TV show, get a massive bunch of plot holes, and then the first thing that everyone says to me is you have to listen to the creator's podcast to get the fucking gaps. It's like, no, piss off. It's like, no, that doesn't...
you do, you know, you do.
Yes. If only you listen to so-and-so and so-and-so's podcast, you'd understand why in episode 12, you know, there was a sheep walking through the back of the scene. It's like, no, if I don't get it, I don't fucking get it. Yeah, the argument that there's something metatextual going on is there, and you know, I'm sure people subscribe to it, and there's probably more that there is, you know, more people that sort of say, well, actually, there is something there, you're just not seeing it, and if that's the case, fine. But if I'm not seeing it, it's because it's not fucking there.
Tell me what it is. Tell me, show me, point it to me, right?
Yeah.
Imagine, this is it. Treat me like I'm completely and utterly fucking stupid. Point to it. Put lights around it, okay? Fucking police your beacons, anything you like. Just show me what it is I'm missing. Oh, no, but if you don't know, I'm not going to tell you. Oh, fuck off.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's the problem, isn't it? If it comes down to, well, I've seen shows with meta text in them before. I've seen loads of stuff like that. I mean, one of my favourite shows, Community, 90% of the bloody script is basically referring to something else somewhere else, or even what's going on behind the scenes of the thing when it's being bloody made. But you can still enjoy it as a thing, whether you understand the subtext behind the text. You can still watch the fucking show and go, I enjoyed the show. I enjoyed this humour. I'm not sitting there going, I wonder if I go onto this website and look at 1,600 reviews, eventually I'll get to one where somebody understands what's going on. It's like, no. It stops being metatextual. It just becomes fucking obscure and pompous and up its own arse.
Yep.
And basically an excuse looking for a medium to hang it on. I mean, it's just fuck off.
Well, it's like if you look on IMDb, there are, as I did, there are some like 10 out of 10 reviews for this.
Why?
People kind of trying to, explaining what a brilliant movie and how clever it is. And they're all like these long essays. And after I read about 3 of them, I thought, these are people taking the piss. This is part of the joke. You know what I mean? Drawing on getting musical parallels. I mean, when I was in my kind of what people call my musical snob phase,
yeah,
I got very serious about music and I liked obscure things. And you get to a level where you kind of you've heard everything, so you're listening to really weird things and putting on records like Captain Beefheart that can actually clear a room. Steel pole bathtub and these obscure like experimental stuff, and you're listening going, yeah, I get what they're doing, and you'll go along with it, and almost sincerely believe it. But one day you wake up and go, you know what, this sounds fucking awful. I'm going to stop listening to this. This is terrible. What's wrong? It
sounds like a man falling down the stairs in a bin.
We've all been there. It's kind of, and you grow out of that and you realise actually the Carpenters wrote some good songs and it's perfectly fine to enjoy them and Captain Beefheart. You can do both. And as you get a bit older, maybe I'll leave that horrible saxophone murder record and not play that ever again because it's ghastly. But you know what I mean? It's kind of I do get it, but clearly there's these 10 out of 10 reviews on IMDb, and I'm sure people are just playing along, and they think they're like on the part of the joke and become part of the. They're being metatextual by writing a glowing review for a film that they know is fucking awful. And it is like them furthering the comedy. And to be honest, those guys are being funnier than Tom Green, in my opinion, because they're being cleverer. Because they are being meta. You know what I mean? The trouble with this movie is it's not being meta at all to satirise gross-out comedy. It's just doing a very poor gross-out comedy.
Let's run with this for a minute, right? Okay,
Go on.
Let's do the double bluff on this one. What if Tom Green had a bet with someone in a pub? Right? And he said, "Look, I'm going to write this film. I'm just going to put this film together. I'm going to put it out there, and I'm going to start a rumour that there's something a little bit more to it than this. I'm not going to give it any details, but I'm just going to start that rumour, right? And let's see how many people fall for it and actually try and paste over the cracks in this film." Right. Let's see if somebody comes out and says, "Oh, there's this to it, and you don't understand it." Blah 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 blah. It's like those embarrassing moments where you get like a musician's Q&A session, and a person's like, "Hey man, I know what you were talking about in this song. You meant this, 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 and this." And they look at the person, blink for a bit, and go, "Well, actually, that's not what it's about. I just wrote it as pure nonsense. It's just a bunch of words I just thought up that sounded good, and I've just put it out on the page." But you go for broke. You do you.
Yeah, well, it's possible, but then you start disappearing down kind of a Mobius strip of he thinks it's a joke, but he knows the joke's on the audience because the joke in the audience is that they don't understand the joke. But then people will try and make the joke into something that is a joke, which is the joke because he's got the audience to suddenly double back on themselves and like something that they hated. I mean, that's a level of Machiavellian screenwriting that I just don't think he's entirely capable of.
No.
But I tell you what, going back to the IMDb reviews as a good example, listen to this one. This is a perfect example, right? This is from someone called Fugu286, right? 10
that
out of
tells
10
you a lot in itself, doesn't it?
tells you a lot, doesn't it?
I know. I hear he's to be listened to.
Well,
this man, he knows his shit.
Much like back in the old version 1 days when Jeb Lucas used to tell us everything that we needed to know about Star Wars. Now we can rely on Fugu286 to really give us the info. So he says, I know I've commented on this film before, but I felt it was worth pointing out something for what it's worth. To the people that criticise the film for not having a plot, being rough patchwork of silly and sometimes repulsive scatological gags, let me just say this. The joke is on you. Like the late Andy Kaufman, Tom Green is consistently relied on his sometimes unsuspecting public for most of his laughs. As a matter of fact, that's why he cancelled his TV show. Too many people had begun to recognise him, and he could no longer make them the butt of his jokes. But he has one last prank to play, and it's Freddy Got Fingered. Although it has some genuinely funny scenes, especially the one featuring Rip Torn, many scenes exist purely for their shock value. It's hard to sympathise with any character in this film, and it does get tedious. And this is precisely what Green had intended. Freddy Got Fingered is Green's version of Kaufman's Great Gatsby bit. And for those of us who actually enjoy that abstract humour, Freddy Got Fingered is a godsend. The biggest joke is the fact that the film actually got made and somebody greenlit the project. The film's actual references this in a scene where Gordy presents his zebra family idea to the producer. Just try imagining Green pitching his idea to a bunch of suits who probably never watched his TV show, but know from their charts and graphs and statistics that this show would be popular amongst young males, and imagine them just forking over the check for a load of old rubbish. And there you go. That's the kind of justification you're getting.
See, right, okay.
Yeah, I read that one. Yeah. He's kind of like, no, I'll tell you what. Why don't you have this big bowl of fuck off and die?
The problem with reviews like that is they're having a go. They're sticking up for a film that you would think that they're trying to be coy with. They think it's shit, but if they acclaim it, then if you attack them or just hint at, no, that review that you've written is incorrect, then you are the problem with the world. It's your purpose. Nowadays, we have people that if you don't agree with them or if you go against something, oh, you're a sheeple. You're a sheeple. And then all of a sudden you have 2 people calling you sheeple. And then 3 people. And then 10 people. And then all of a sudden the people that are calling you sheeple, oh, look, there's a herd of sheeple over there calling me sheeple. That's what it's. They can't see what they're doing. That is, it's the wrong way round. If you know what I mean. It's reviews like this. They're trying to be funny and make me the reader of that review coming into it because I don't like this movie. They're attacking me, and me not attacking them, but just me reading that, I am automatically wrong. And if I think that they're wrong about me being wrong, then I'm more wrong. And it just keeps doubling and doubling down.
Yeah, it's the Donald Trump fake news thing, isn't it?
It's bullshit. It really is. It is that sort of world, isn't it? It's, well, no, you're wrong. And the more you think you're right, the more you're wrong. And I'm going to say it. I'm going to shout it at you that you're wrong until you are wrong. And then I will shout it even more. It's like, oh, no, come on. Sometimes I get people will like this sometimes. Some people will like it. I think this film was kind of made in... It was probably made with the thoughts of like the PlayStation world, but by the time this had been released, PlayStation 2 was out, and it kind of missed the boat. It was made for 18, 19-year-olds going into the cinema with friends so they can all point and elbow each other and go, oh, that's gross, isn't it? Oh, isn't that gross? And it missed the mark by a long shot. There are scenes in there where he's dancing and squirting police officers. That's just not funny. It's just not amusing in any situation whatsoever. That went out with Police Academy, and that it wasn't really funny then.
No.
But then you have scenes where he walks into the hospital and sees the nurse, and he's flirty with the nurse, and then all of a sudden the joke is, she's in a wheelchair and wheeling herself away. So am I supposed to laugh at that? Am I supposed to, he was trying to chat, so she's in a wheelchair. Oh, well, then he wouldn't even go out with her, would he? No, that doesn't work on any level whatsoever. Am I supposed to find that funny because she's in a wheelchair? No. Well, I don't. Am I supposed to find it funny that he's shocked that she's in a wheelchair? No, I don't. No, that doesn't make it funny. And then he goes out with it. So am I supposed to find that funny as well? There is nothing there that works at all in the levels of 2001 or nowadays, and definitely not nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, social attitudes make this even worse. I mean, modern revisitation 19 years after the event, and like everyone's kind of moved on. At least you'd like to think so. Looking on the internet, sometimes it's hard to tell. But yeah, the problem really comes from the fact that it relies on gross out, and gross out needs context. It needs quiet time. It needs to hit you in the face as it goes back to the old horror thing, the quiet, quiet, quiet bang. It needs to have the quiet, quiet, quiet moments for it to be a shock. And as Jim rightly pointed out earlier on, it literally comes straight out the gate and has him wanking a horse within 5 minutes of the film starting. And where do you go from there?
There's a lot of horse cock in this film, isn't there?
There is, including the one wanking the horse.
Yep.
And that was funnier than the entire film. Thank you very much. I'm Lee Metcalf, and I collect my £10. I mean, another thing that got brought up on the Facebook group, which Martin Thompson brought up, was, someone, naming no names, would be rather into being offended at the fact that someone actually got paid $1 million to do an animated feature. Yeah, I'd be fucking well impressed at that. I have to say, I did kind of sit there going, really, £1 million for a feature for an idea? Because not in my experience, it ain't. It's not even close. But yeah, $1 million.
Joke's on you, mate. The joke's on you.
Yeah, well, obviously I don't understand, and I obviously don't know, and I wouldn't know. How would I know?
A counter review. If you were one of these people who thought the joke was on you because you didn't get it, then
the joke's on you,
on them, or something.
If you're the people who think you're above me because you know that I don't get the joke, well, let me tell you the joke you don't get. You don't pay £1 million for a creator to do a show. You pay £1 million as a production budget for a single episode of a show. And the creator might get about 50 grand if they're lucky. If they're tied into a contract with the company, they might get fuck all. So have a nice day. So Tom Green is not only crap, but he's also a liar and hasn't done his research. That's the funny bit.
Oh, Mr. Metcalf, you don't get it, though, do you? You don't get it.
Yeah, the joke's on you.
Yeah, the joke's on me.
Use that in arguments from now on. Oh, well, you thought this, that, and the other. Well, you're the stupid one because of this.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's it. I've got to come back. I've got to come back to the original review, the Red Letter Media review. It's the second worst thing to happen in 2001 in America. frankly. And that is still funnier than the whole of this fucking show. And, you know, that's it. I don't know where else to go from here.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I think Tom Green, as you said before, like in Road Trip, he's the character that you want to go back to when you're following the A and B plot. He is like the C plot in a movie, and he works that way. In that Road Trip one, he's the one that you want to go back to see what he's doing with the fucking mouse and the snake.
Oh,
yeah.
When you just write the comedy, mate, you really do. He's a C plot, isn't he? Yes.
Euphemism.
He's
well
the
done,
C, Jim. Well done.
We have a comedy genius here. He's not even thinking about it, and he's producing it, man.
He's the C unit.
Oh, dear.
Yeah,
But you get what I mean, though, don't you? Like,
yes.
He's there that you don't get enough of, and you want to return to, and they deliberately don't give you enough of it because in its tiny, tiny small blocks, it's more amusing than the massive wasteland that you're watching in the actual film itself. Unfortunately, this film is made of them tiny blocks, and you've got an hour and a half. And can I just say, fucking Rip Torn, what a... Oh, that was fucking terrible. Absolute terrible.
That was genuinely...
His hair performed better than he did. And that had died.
Oh, well, that looked like a...
Get him, tiger.
Yeah.
I think some of that wasn't natural.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, there was a shape to that.
I think so as well. Yeah, yeah. Well, like, again, going back to the red letter media thing, I mean, let's be honest, Rip Torn was a man who got so drunk that he broke into a bank because he thought it was his house. I mean, you know, he doesn't, I don't think he knew what he was involved in. Yeah. But yeah, the scene of him going around with his pants around his ankles, spanking his bare ass, going, fuck me, yeah, fuck you, fuck me, fuck you, fuck me, would have been funny in a 2-second gif, and probably would have been funny in a totally different film. But by this point, I was literally at a point of thinking, I'm actually angry now. I'm genuinely cross. Because it had just followed the bit where Freddie had got basically taken away, and the Rip Torn character had basically been, you know, accused of paedophilia. And at no point does the Rip Torn character get arrested or taken in. At no point does Freddie come to, you know, get released or anything. And Tom Green's character doesn't face the consequences of his actions. And then on top of that, you get this moment in the film where it basically makes you feel sorry for Tom Green. Straight after that, it's like when he's tearing up his drawings. It's like, you're tearing up my drawings. I actually spent time on those. It's like, mate, you're tearing up my fucking timeline. My life is dying away, and I'm supposed to feel sorry for you fucking bellend? I mean, just no.
Makes you think that the kid at the end realised he was in a film and actually ran into a propeller.
Well, yeah. I mean, frankly, at that point, I just, you know...
Yeah, fucking join the queue, mate.
Yeah. Or we could just all save ourselves some time and throw just Tom Green into the propeller. I mean, you know.
No, but that's you not getting the joke, mate, I'm afraid.
Yeah, but then they're not...
on you.
Yeah, but then they're not getting the joke because Tom Green being thrown into a propeller is the joke.
Yeah.
Because that's the joke.
No. The joke is more jokey than that joke.
Mm-hmm.
You see, because the joke, on a meta-contextual level, when you bring it in from the outside to turn it inside out and switch it on the other side and then turn it into a Rubik's Cube, put all the reds where the greens were, and then stick a 2-pence piece on top of it and put it on top of a sofa that's on fire, that says the joke is somewhere.
Darren, I'm going to write a 10-star review of your description there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And if they don't get it, joke's on them.
The joke's on them.
To quote Blazing Saddles, not only was that a good old frontier gibberish, but it said what we all felt.
Sharvish nerfing. Old man Johnson's right.
Yeah. Gabby Johnson's right. No, the goddamn nugget. Anyway, right, okay. Well, before we drop ourselves in deep shit by quoting a film really out of context and getting pulled out of context on Twitter, anyone got any last thoughts on this film? Because I frankly wish I'd never seen it, and I genuinely, if I had some way of having a second PlayStation, I would have thrown the other one into the street and had it run over by a bus. Final
thoughts. Final thoughts. Well, I have a game on my Xbox called Dunk Lords, and let me read you the premise. Dunk Lords is a 2-on-2 basketball beat 'em up featuring over-the-top special moves, devastating dunks, and game-changing equipment. I would rather play that for a 2-week straight run than ever go near this film ever again.
Nice.
You know that? That's it. Dunk Lords. Fucking just think about it. Dunk Lords.
If I was gonna name these episodes based on things that were said in the podcast, like we used to do, I'd call this Dunk Lords.
Dunk Lords, or Donkey Dunker Lords, whatever.
Yes. Ballad of the Elephant Jizz.
Fucking, it's a bloke. I'll tell you what, right? Okay, on the actual graphic, the actual poster for it, it's got a bloke punching a tomato. With what looks like a bloke with a fucking pencil sharpener for a head fires a laser beam at the bloke punching the tomato.
Yeah, at this
Quick,
point,
cut the feed now. It's not going to get any better than that.
Yeah, good night, everyone. No, that's
In fact, shall I install it now and then I'll give you a review of it, because it's got to be a damn sight better than what we watched.
Well, maybe, but let's not test your internet connection too hard at this point. Cool.
My final thoughts on this, as I said in the very beginning, it is mean-spirited. There's just something underlying that it's just not quite funny, and there's something. Yeah, maybe he was just flicking the V's, but it just didn't come off too well.
It's bitter.
It's not funny. I didn't mean to offend anyone by suggesting this. It was just, do you know what? I've given you some good movies. Here's a humdinger. Here's a doozy for you that is really, really bad.
Unfortunately,
I apologise. I will take it, but I will redeem myself next year. But I'm sure it'll be far too late by then.
Unfortunately, Pandora, that box has been opened now.
Yeah.
Have you seen what was that fucking movie with Tom Hanks in it about the going off and doing the mystery with the fucking monk with the blonde hair and the blue
Da Vinci Code.
Da Vinci Code, right? Okay. In fact, it's that monk. What you need to do, Elton, is you need to go and whip yourself on a regular basis to pay penance.
Okay.
Oh, the Opus Dei, where he's got
Dei.
He's got the strap with all the spikes round his leg.
That's right, yeah. That and all.
Nice.
There you go. That's your penance.
Okay, I will do that.
Or you can just save me getting up and come round here, and I'll hit you in the face with something wet.
Yeah.
Or just buy me a
PlayStation
biscuit
5.
and raisin Yorkie. I'll be fine with that.
You're
make
aiming,
it a duo, and you're sorted.
You're aiming well too low. But let's be honest. After Jim says his thoughts on this film, we're going to find out what Jim's going to pull out of that Pandora's box of Sadvent.
Hold on, you said Pandora. What was Pandora in? Pandora was in Oh no.
Oh no. Let's not do that.
Oh no.
No. So, Jim, last thoughts?
This was one of the toughest watches I've done in a while. I think maybe by 10 minutes in, I realised what I was in for. A lot of tedious shouting and attempts to offend me, which weren't going to work in themselves, but as Darren said, the whole thing offended me. I mean, you're always told as a creative person, it's very hard to make a film. This shit got made, people.
Yeah.
Get out there, do it.
Yeah.
If you made it as a gigantic fuck you and a huge game of chicken of how far and how much money you could get out of Hollywood, fair play to you. I do kind of like those sort of prankster, sort of creative types. Like the KLF played a similar game in the music industry. Yeah. But the difference is they made some good records. You made a shit film.
Yes.
It might have been funny for you, but it wasn't funny for the rest of us.
Yeah, I was going to say, and to the tune of $14.3 million worth of ticket sales.
Well, the thing is, I mean, even he did the Trump thing before Trump in an interview by claiming that he said more people went to see it, but he reckoned that it was, younger people who bought tickets for Crocodile Dundee, the shit sequel, and then they snuck in to see his movie instead.
What a load of old cock.
I know.
Horse cock.
It's kind of, mate, drip your head, you're dribbling,
Yeah.
knock it off, fuck you,
Yeah.
Which leads me to suggest that, this wasn't a clever experiment. There's no meta text here. This is a man covering his arse.
Yeah, definitely.
Clearly. Fuck you, and I hope you choke on a horse cock, Tom Green.
Yay!
Happy Christmas.
Yeah. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Horse cock's over if you want it. John Lennon said once.
Brilliant.
So this is horse cock.
Yeah. And what have we done? I've covered Rip Torn in a bucket of elephant cum. Anyway. Right. So that's that. That was Freddy Got Fingered. If by any unfortunate accident you ended up watching this pile of shit, then send all insults and missives to Mr. Elton McManus, care of Black Dog Podcast. No. But anyway, do leave us some feedback if you have watched this film or have any thoughts on it. Go to the Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/the Black Dog Podcast. Send us some feedback to feedback@Black Dog Podcast by email, or get in contact with us on Twitter @Black Dog Podcast. Right. Here we go. Episode 2 of Sadvent, and it's Jim's turn. So, thanks to Elton, obviously the doors to hell have been opened, and Jim's stepping through with his option. And then after Jim, we've got Darren, and then finally me, and then it's Christmas, and we have made it through 2020, and we can all feel like we've been through the trial of fire. Yeah. So, Elton, you can sit down. Your moment's over.
I'm sitting down gingerly.
Jim, none of us have heard what you've picked.
No.
Could you tell us what it is and what it's on?
Well, I can't actually do that, you see, because I picked 3 movies.
What?
Oh.
Of varying quality.
Okay.
And I thought the only fair thing was that the random gods of fate judge us. So I have 3 movies. One I think is quite fun. One I know is hilariously bad. One I've never seen, but I believe is utterly shite.
Oh, God.
Right.
These movies have been assigned to a grid.
Oh, no.
And we're going to play Battleship to decide which movie it is. So for each of you fuckers, I need a grid reference. A to J, 1 to 10. When we get a direct hit, that's the movie we're watching.
Oh, man.
Hold on. A to J, 1 to 10?
Yep.
For
I'm
fuck's
just
sake.
going to draw the grid on a piece of paper.
Yeah, hang on.
We're just having one hit, and that's it. It's sudden death. It's like a penalty shootout.
A to J, 1 to 10. Yeah?
Yep.
Okay, you did 1 to 10 across, and then
Which will it go? It could be a good one, could be a bad one, or it could be a mystery monocle.
Ooh, okay. Darren, you go first. I'm scared.
Okay.
I love the tense music.
C1.
C1 is a miss.
Okay, Elton, go.
they always put them round the edge, so I'm going to say J8.
Oh, J8 is a hit.
Oh, fuck you, Elton.
Elton?
No, it's not my fault, honestly.
Christ, I've had this Perry Como tune in my head that it's like, buy a bag of shit and put it on his doorstep, light it with a naked flame. Anyway.
Elton.
Ring the doorbell twice, then run. No.
Well, okay, the films on my list were...
Okay.
The terrible one, which I think is hilarious, was the 1950s non-classic The Giant Claw, which features the most funniest goggle-eyed puppet of a monster I've ever seen. However, that wasn't what you hit.
Oh, no.
The other movie I picked, which I've never seen, which I believe is probably horrible shite, stars Danny DeVito and Ferris Cunty Bueller, who maybe ran over somebody, and it was Deck the Halls.
Oh, good Lord.
Oh, man.
However,
alive.
the movie you hit, ironically, was one we were going to do many years ago for Christmas on Black Dog, but we couldn't get hold of a copy.
Oh, God, no.
It is a mockumentary called Stalking Santa, narrated by William Shatner, and it's turned up on Amazon Prime literally today.
Oh, my God. Stalking Santa with William Shatner.
Yep.
Holy fuck. Hold on. Stalking Santa. Oh, God, 2006. Here it is, Amazon Prime, Stalking Santa. Dr. Lloyd Darrow, who dubs himself a Santologist, pursues the age-old enigma of Santa Claus with the support of his wife and dysfunctional intern. Dr. Darrow battles government conspiracies, corporate suppression, phony mall Santas, and a growing resentment from his son Keith in his quest to prove that Santa is real. Rating 3.6. Holy fuck.
Jesus.
So, wow. Wow. I don't know what to say. I genuinely don't. Wow. And have you seen this before, Jim? Is you saying
I own a copy of this?
Holy fuck.
Oh, no.
What?
Are you owning
The
this copy?
Shatner narration is worth the price of admission alone.
Oh, God. Tell me you own this ironically. I'm not going to sit there and just judge you all the way through this film.
I think you have to watch it and find out.
Oh, my life. Oh. Okay, I'll go around the table for format's sake, but I think I know the answer. Darren, have you seen this film before?
No.
Elton,
Hello.
Jonah of the fucking podcast.
I'm really fucking sorry.
Have you seen this film before?
I'm so sorry.
Answer the fucking question.
My God, it's got people that. Oh no, no, I have never even heard of this.
Neither.
I'm looking at this on IMDb. There are no photos attached to this movie, which worries me.
Well, I tell you what, if you want to laugh, have a look at the Wikipedia. It barely has a plot.
Right.
There's nothing in it at all.
Okay.
I'm taking it you haven't seen this, no.
No, never. Never seen, never even heard of it.
I like the fact that William Shatner's like fourth billing behind people who haven't even got a fucking photo. Oh, good lordy. Right. Well, that's a thing that happened. So thank you for that, Jim. Thank you, Elton.
It was in the lap of the gods.
The gods.
You could have had the giant claw.
I think there's a charm in a 1950s monster movie, though. I think if it's bloody awful, you can sit there and just laugh at it. I don't know that I'm going to laugh at this. I think I'm just going to cry and just carry on filling my pint glass with gin.
Why don't I say bloody J.A.? Honestly,
I don't know. You
well played, sir.
I think I didn't even get a shot off.
Where would you have gone?
I would have gone H4.
Let me look on my grid. H4 would have been a miss.
See? So it's definitely you, Elton.
Yeah.
Right. Well, we'll be back next week for Stalking Santa. Whatever the fuck it is, and let's just keep an open mind. I mean, it's only got William Shatner as a fourth tier member of the cast. Oh, good Lord. Sadvent calendar continues to deliver. So before we go, I think it's time for us to see how everything is in the wonderful world of Hypnagoria. Jim, how's things?
Well, today the Hypnagoria Advent calendar has opened. And behind door number 1 was the first of my Christmas ghost stories reading, a chilling tale called Passenger from Crew. On Thursday, there's a Commentary Club episode on Blackadder's Christmas Carol. And at the weekend, I've got an episode coming on the classic children's book and TV series and other versions of The Children of Green Know.
Right. Cool. And that's all over at hypnagoria.com. Yes.
Indeed. If you keep track of the Advent calendar, it'll take you to all the relevant places on the right day and some other goodies in between.
Lovely idea. I'm still surprised that works. If I had made it, it probably would have just been a picture and people would just have to keep coming to me and it'll be a like.
I'm checking it every midnight. Work you bug. Oh, Christ for that. It did.
Okay, so what about you, Elton?
Well, this Friday, an episode of Shonky Lab will be released involving myself and Darren. We will be talking about video game franchises. It's part 1. There hasn't been a part 2 recorded yet, but future there will be a part 2, nay, a part 3. And I was also invited onto The Great Derelict as well to talk about Jurassic Park. That will be released very soon, I think. Maybe this Friday, I think it is. So pop along there, download to your heart's content.
Cool. And Darren, I guess you're on Shonky Lab, yes?
Yes.
Well, there you
That's
go.
right.
See? How did I know? See, I'm the man in the know. Have you got any? Are you appearing anywhere else?
No, just in my living room, really is.
Nice. So there you go. Can people subscribe to that webcam?
If they want to. I'm not doing any sexy dances anymore. Fuck that shit.
Right. Darren's
My hip
OnlyFans
gives out, so there we go.
It's like the Abbey Road crossing in his house.
Darren Diamond, onlyfans.com.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I want to see that.
Really? Because that's what I got you for Christmas, a subscription.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Yes.
You'll discover a new meaning for Meals on Wheels. I'll tell you that now.
Right. Well, thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Darren. Thank you, Elton. Thank you, everyone, for listening. And if you did watch Freddy Got Fingered, we're very sorry. If you're going to watch Stalking Santa, I guess we'll be sorry again. But just remember, this is a tempering time. This is a strengthening time. We're going to come out at the end of this and 2020 will just seem like a fucking fragrant room full of shaken vac compared to this last month of Sadvent films. So again, thank you very much for listening. Stay safe. Leave us feedback if you feel brave enough, and we'll see you all next week. Until then, take care. Tatty bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Ta-da.
Oh, bollocks to it.